Oh, Happy New Year, everybody. Danny Rufo coming at you with a special New Year's history show. So let me go through some of the history of New Year's celebrations in our world. Early New Year's celebrations, the earliest recorded festivities in honor of a New Year's arrival, date back some 4,000 years to ancient Babylonia. For the Babylonians, the first new moon following the vernal equinox, the day in late March with an equal amount of sunlight and darkness, heralded the start of a new year. They marked the occasion with a massive religious festival called Akitu, derived from their word for barley, which was cut in the early spring. That involved a different ritual on each of its 11 days. In addition to the new year, Adiku celebrated the mythical victory of the Babylonian sky god Marduk over the evil sea goddess Tiamat and served an important political purpose. It was during this time that a new king would be crowned or that the current ruler's divine mandate was symbolically renewed. Throughout antiquity, civilizations around the world developed increasingly sophisticated calendars, typically pinning the first day of the year to an agricultural or astronomical event. In Egypt, for instance, the year began with the annual flooding of the Nile, which coincided with the rising of the star Sirius. The first day of the Chinese New Year, meanwhile, occurred within the second new moon after the winter solstice. We'll talk more about China. So let's talk about our calendar, how it evolved, how January 1 becomes New Year's Day. The early Roman calendar consisted of 10 months and 304 days, with each new year beginning at the vernal equinox. According to tradition, it was created by Romulus, the founder of Rome, in the 8th century BC. A later king, Numa Pompilius, is credited with adding the months of Januarius and Februarius. Over the centuries, the calendar fell out of sync with the sun. And in 46 BC, the Emperor Julius Caesar decided to solve the problem by consulting with the most prominent astronomers and mathematicians of his time. He introduced the Julian calendar, which closely resembles the more modern Gregorian calendar that most countries around the world use today. As part of his reform, Julius Caesar instituted January 1 as the first day of the new year, partly to honor the month's namesake, Janus, the Roman god of beginnings, whose two faces allowed him to look back into the past and forward into the future. Romans celebrated by offering sacrifices to Janus, exchanging gifts with one another, decorating their homes with laurel branches, and attending parties. In medieval Europe, Christian leaders temporarily replaced January 1st as the first of the year with days carrying more religious significance, such as December 25th, the anniversary of Jesus' birth, and March 25th, the feast of the Annunciation. Pope Gregory the 13th, Pope Gregory the 13th, reestablished January 1 as New Year's Day in 1582. In many countries, celebrations begin on the evening of December 31st, New Year's Eve, and continue into the early hours of January 1st. Revelers often enjoy meals and snacks thought to bestow good luck for the coming year. In Spain and several other Spanish-speaking countries, people bolt down a dozen grapes, symbolizing their hopes for the months ahead, right before midnight. In many parts of the world, traditional New Year's dishes feature legumes, which are thought to resemble coins and herald future financial success. Examples include lentils in Italy and black-eyed peas in the southern United States. Because pigs represent progress and prosperity in some cultures, pork appears on the New Year's Eve table in Cuba, Austria, where else? Hungary, Portugal, and other countries. Ring-shaped cakes and pastries, a sign that the year has come full circle, are in the Netherlands, Mexico, Greece, and elsewhere. In Sweden and Norway, meanwhile, rice pudding with an almond hidden inside and several is served on New Year's Eve. and it is said that whoever finds the nut can expect 12 months of good fortune. Other customs that are common worldwide, including watching fireworks, singing songs, including the very popular Old Lang Syne in many English-speaking countries. In the United States, the most iconic New Year's tradition is the dropping of the giant ball in New York City's Times Square at the stroke of midnight. Millions of people around the world watch the event, which has taken place almost every year since 1907. Over time, the ball itself has ballooned from a 700-pound iron and wooden orb to a brightly patterned sphere 12 feet in diameter and weighing approximately 12,000 pounds. Various towns and cities across America have developed their own versions of the Times Square ritual, organizing public drops of items ranging from pickles in Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, to possums in Tallapoosa, Georgia at midnight on New Year's Eve. Other places have different calendars, of course. The Lunar New Year in China, for 15 days, billions of people in China, as well as those in other Asian countries, including Indonesia and Vietnam, celebrate the Lunar New Year, also known as the Spring Festival. Let's see, this year, by the way, for the Chinese calendar, is the Year of the Dog. Rosh Hashanah in Israel, Jewish people around the world celebrate the New Year in September or October during Rosh Hashanah, which means head of the year. And of course, you also have Diwali in India. The Festival of Lights is enjoyed by millions of Sikhs, Hindus, and Jains all over the world. Diwali celebrations coincide with the Hindu New Year, last for 5 days, and are usually held between mid-October and mid-November, depending on the Hindu lunar calendar. So there's our history of New Year's celebrations. As they mentioned before, Times Square, a big deal up in New York City. Millions of people watch the ball go down. And here we are. So, Danny Rufo wishing you and your family, all of your friends, a Happy New Year. I'll be home with my family. We have our own little tradition. We get Chinese food on New Year's Eve. That's our little thing. And then we'll sit in the living room and we'll watch. Used to watch Dick Clark, right? So now we watch the ball come down and ring in the new year ourselves. Years ago, used to go out, right? A lot of people still do. I haven't been out in New Year's for years. It's become a little bit more of a quiet holiday for me, ringing in. So saying goodbye to 2018, saying hello to 2019. I wish you all the best of luck. I wish you all happiness. Happy New Year, everybody. You take it easy, and I'll see you next time on Rufo Social Studies. Good night, everyone.